Today, we're going to explore how Brexit is still shaping the UK's economy in almost every aspect, from trade and investment to the labor market and inflation. Let's start with the cornerstone of any economy, trade. Before Brexit, the UK was part of the EU's single market, allowing for frictionless trade across the continent. Goods, services, and capital moved freely. After Brexit, the UK exited both the single market and the customs union, leading to new barriers to trade. Companies suddenly had to deal with customs checks, rules of origin requirements, and tariffs. This new environment hit UK exporters hard, particularly small and medium-sized enterprises that lacked the resources to navigate the bureaucratic maze. The numbers tell a story of their own. In the first year after Brexit, UK exports to the EU fell significantly. While they have recovered somewhat, they are still below pre-Brexit levels. Importing from the EU has also become more cumbersome, with businesses reporting delays and higher costs. The situation is especially tough for industries that rely on complex supply chains, like automotive manufacturing. Many car parts cross the UK-EU border multiple times before a final product is assembled. Each crossing now means paperwork, inspections, and costs, undermining efficiency. The UK's services sector, which includes everything from banking to law, also felt the impact. Unlike goods, services were not well covered in the Brexit trade agreement. The financial services industry, one of the UK's biggest economic engines, lost its automatic passporting rights to operate freely across the EU. Many financial firms relocated parts of their operations to EU cities. The Amsterdam Stock Exchange, for instance, overtook London as Europe's largest trading hub, a symbolic yet significant shift. The loss of easy access to European markets has forced the financial sector to adapt, but it has also raised questions about London's long-term position as a global financial capital. One of the most immediate consequences of Brexit has been the change in the UK's labour market. Before Brexit, the freedom of movement allowed EU nationals to live and work in the UK without restrictions. This brought in a steady flow of labour, particularly in sectors like agriculture, construction, healthcare, and hospitality. After Brexit, the new immigration rules have made it harder for low-skilled workers from Europe to come to the UK, leading to labour shortages. Farmers, for example, have struggled to find seasonal workers to pick crops, causing some to rot in the fields. Restaurants, hotels, and construction companies have faced similar challenges, pushing up wages in those sectors to attract British workers, which in turn has contributed to rising costs for consumers. These labour shortages are also affecting public services, especially the National Health Service, NHS. EU nationals once made up a significant portion of the NHS workforce, from doctors and nurses to support staff. Recruitment has become more challenging, forcing the government to rethink its immigration policies. New visa schemes have been introduced to fill gaps, but they haven't fully compensated for the loss of EU workers. This strain on labor markets has wider implications for productivity, wages, and the overall economy. On the flip side, Brexit has allowed the UK to pursue trade agreements independently. While supporters argue that this sovereignty gives the UK more control, the reality has been complex. Trade deals with countries like Australia, Canada, and New Zealand are celebrated as wins, but they don't fully compensate for the losses in trade with the EU, which remains the UK's largest trading partner. The economic repercussions of Brexit have also fed into another issue: inflation. Disruptions in supply chains due to new customs checks, combined with global challenges like the COVID-19 pandemic and the energy crisis, have driven up prices. Food imports, in particular, have become more expensive as tariffs and customs delays add costs to European products. This inflationary pressure has affected the cost of living across the UK, squeezing household budgets. Shoppers have noticed higher prices in supermarkets, and businesses have passed on increased costs to consumers. What about the political landscape? So what's next for the UK economy in this post-Brexit era? The truth is, the full impact of Brexit will take years, if not decades, to fully understand. Some sectors will adapt and thrive, finding new opportunities outside of Europe. Others will continue to struggle with the new reality of a more divided, more complex trade landscape. What's clear is that Brexit is not a one-off event. It's an ongoing process that will shape the UK's economy for generations to come.